Just to tell you a little bit about this guy right here, Andy. I consider Andy kind of an expert's expert. He is one of the founders of a professional organization called the Association of Professional Futurists. It's been around for a decade now, something like that, 50. And he is also a futurist or a foresight practitioner in several different contexts. He's been in big companies like Dow and Kellogg, applying a lot of these skill sets of thinking about the future to help an organization with their strategy and decide what to do next. He's been a consulting futurist, which is working with all different sizes of organizations, small ones, big ones, private ones, public ones, governments. And he's also been an academic futurist. He leads this program, a graduate program at Foresight at the University of Houston, which is where I got to meet him when I went down for a temporary visit to Houston and dropped in on him. He was very gracious. But this program is known for graduating people out into very practical careers using these skills. So I'm excited to turn the time over to Andy for the next half hour or so and talk about how we're applying some of these kinds of work.
Perfect. All right. Well, so just to let you know, I invented Pop-Tarts. But one of the things I did work on at Kellogg's, I was there in the 1990s, was we launched a natural foods business. And that probably seems like a new big deal today because everywhere you look there's natural and organic foods. But I can tell you in 1997 it was a death struggle to get the company to believe that natural food would ever be anything beyond a little tiny thing. So that's part of what we do as futurists is we try to anticipate where is the future going so that we can kind of get ourselves and our organizations in line with that emerging future. So, why do we do it? So I've worked with a lot of different organizations. So I've been doing futures work for almost 30 years now. I started when I was 5 years old. And one of the things that we've learned is that a lot of organizations have no idea where they're going. And so, that's the Alice in Wonderland thing. Why bother planning if you don't know where you want to go? One of the things I love about Singularity, and we've worked together on a few different things, is they're all about vision, right? Here are the problems ahead, here are the challenges ahead. How do we get there? And if I'm y'all as into entrepreneurs and ones who want to kind of change the world, and that's what we need. We need targets or big. Well, let me just show you here. We call it the image of the future, right? So a lot of what we try to do as futurists is to help individuals and organizations get a sense of where do we want to go. Doesn't mean that it's an easy straight line to get there. It's not that simple, right? But if we have a sense of where we want to go, we have some tools to kind of help you get down that path. So you think of the image, here's what I want to do. How do I go? And then how do we get there? This is one of the first books. You can probably tell it's a book. First of all, it's a paper book, right? And it's really old. It's one of the first books I read. And what this guy was saying is, one of the biggest challenges I see ahead for humankind, correct, is I don't see that we have a compelling image of the future as a group. It's like we don't have a sense of where we're going. And his challenge to us was to think about that. So my next book, if I ever finish it, is trying and my graduate students helped me kind of really inspire me to think about this topic. So we've been living with capitalism for a couple hundred years right now. That's our main economic system. Done a lot of good things, but there's some challenges with it. So one of the things we've been thinking about, what would be a new economic system? What might that look like? And as we kind of look, so we did our futurist work, we say, all right, so what's the next economic system? There's nothing out there. What we found was a bunch of fragments and pieces of ideas of how the world might be different without capitalism, but no coherent vision. So what we've been doing in the last several years is putting together some ideas around what those images might look like. And one of them, the tech-led abundance, should be really familiar if you're a disciple of the Singularity chapter, which I'm sure Ryan has converted you to be a disciple. One of the things that the Singularity folks talk about is a world in which we develop technology tools that create, if you will, an abundant society. That's an image of the future. That's a positive, compelling image of the future. That's one of the three in our search that we've been able to find. So there's a second one around sustainability, save the planet, all that good stuff, right? And then the non-workers paradise, I guess you'd have to, if you have any Marxists in here, I'm going to guess we don't. But you might remember the workers paradise if you study history. So in the future, we imagine, rather than a workers paradise, a non-workers paradise. Perhaps in the distant future, you may not need to have a job. How do you feel about that? You don't feel like that? Now, my daughter is my oldest daughter is a freshman in school. She's like, so Dad, I don't have to go to school. I'm like, no, dude, you don't get out there. Like, this is the distant future we're talking about. In the short term, I think we better all have jobs. But, we can imagine a future maybe in which the job is not as centrally important as it is today. Maybe it doesn't go away completely, but it's not. So that's some idea of images or visions, or what are we trying to get to, right? And one of the things that we say, why is the future? Shouldn't it just be easy? Like, why don't we just predict it? Why don't we just figure it out? We have big supercomputers, and right? Why don't we just plug all the data in and hit submit and get the answer to what the future looks like? It's really complicated, right? And one of the reasons it's really complicated is no matter what subject you're interested in. I know we have a lot of interest in technology here. One of the things that, technology would be really easy to forecast, but technology is embedded in a legal system. It's embedded in a political system. There are economic factors, right? So there are social acceptance factors. So one of the reasons that the future is so difficult to predict, and we've even pretty much given up on the idea of trying to predict it accurately, we say there's just too many factors at play to get a precise answer. But what we can do is get close enough to be useful. We can tell stories about the future that will create that picture, that image in our head of what the future might be. And that's what we can do. That's a reasonable thing. Can we tell you, what's going to happen in 2023? Well, probably not. Not with any degree of accuracy, unless we get lucky. But can we tell you what will be some of the major factors likely to shape life in 2023? Absolutely. We can do that. We can do that with I think a fairly comfortable degree of accuracy. So one of the things that we've thought about, and I'll just run through this really quick. So we say it's all about systems, right? How do all these different trends interact, right? So one of the things that we found over time, so when you say, oh, this is a really tough problem, how do we change the system? One of the things you part of, how do we fix the school system? Oh, right, really tough. We say usually we spend a lot of time changing the numbers, right? Well, let's increase the budget 2%. That might fix it, right? And what we found is it's easy to do that, but it's really not very effective. So a lot of times when we try to solve really complex problems, we do things that make us feel good. We tweak with we play around with numbers at the top. Where it starts to get interesting here are the rules of the system. Okay, we think of everything as a system, right? When you start to change the rules of how the system operates, then some interesting things start to happen. As you can see here, however, it's hard to do. Right, that's why we don't often do it, right? It's easier to play with the numbers than it is to change the rules. And then we found really where the big payoff is in terms of really changing a system or really getting to let's fix healthcare. Holy crap, that is a tough one. It's really a paradigm problem. Here we go. Sorry about that. It's a paradigm. So until we rethink our whole approach, 450-page printed handbook of the rules of Medicare and mailing it out to people. We've heard about this thing, you know about the internet. We're wondering, in the age of information, do you think maybe we should do away with mailing the 450 page that what do you, right? Are you kidding me? These are sometimes, now, the questions aren't always that easy, but I mean, one of the things we help them with is to understand the different ways that people would process information in the future. One of our suspicions right off the bat was it wouldn't be reading 450-page canvas. So that was an easy problem. A lot of times they'll ask us to craft strategy, innovate. I mean, I know we got a lot of innovative-minded people there. So how do you create innovative new product services that people want? Well, understand what that future context looks like. If you have a sense of which way the future is going, you can design your products and services to fit with the future. The tendency is always to look to the past. Well, what did we do before? Not going to help you with the future, right? So that's one of the things we do. Okay. So another thing, so when we say, well, what are some of the benefits? All right, it's a useful way to think about the future, shared vision. Strategic conversation. Let me ask, how many of you have had a conversation, well, this is probably a loaded group, but how many of you just talk about the future regularly? You do? Do you have like a group?
Yeah, I mean, we meet with Startup Junkie. It's pretty awesome.
All right, so the Startup Junkies, anyone, who else talks about the future? Who do you talk about? Yeah, well, if you're like most of my companies, so, I work with a lot of big companies. I was just working with a big product, consumer products company out on the West Coast in Oakland, which you probably guess, but we won't reveal anything. They don't talk about the future. And so one of the benefits of doing these kinds of projects is to just say, hey, what do we think? What's your view on the future, right? And just to have that conversation, it's amazing because we're so busy, doing our day-to-day stuff. We don't take time to just go, hey, wait a second, where are we going? All right. So, some of the, who cares about history? All right, the process flow. We don't have time for everything. So, how do you do it? So, in like 60 seconds, one of the things that, so when we're studying the future of topics, so maybe you can give me some good advice in Q&A or something after. I'm doing the future of grilling. For a company that makes those little briquettes that you pour out of the bag and you squirt the lighter fluid on it, and then you light the match and jump back. That's their business. And so that's what they make, briquettes in the big bag. And their question is, what's the future of grilling going to be like? So that's that's what we've got to help them understand how that might change into the future. So maybe think of a few ideas. Right? So how do we do that? Well, we look back to the recent past. So we're looking 10 years into the future to say, how might grilling change in the future? We map out, create a map of the top bag, and say what's currently happening, and then we scan for signals of change. So let's just do a quick question. If you thought about the future of grilling, what might be some factors, any kind of factor that would change how grilling gets done in the future? What do you guess? Some things that are already happening. What's some of the things that have already happened to the grilling industry? Probably, we do a grill.
Do it inside.
Huh?
Do it inside.
Do it inside. Big factor, right? That could be a whole new opportunity because, I don't know, 90+% is outside right now. That's a good one. What else is going on?
Changes in the fuel source.
Yeah! There's like pellets and smokers and what's the big one? Imagine you're the one that's making these little briquettes. What's the big competitor that's got them scared?
Propane?
Huh?
Propane?
Yeah, the gas grill! Why? What do you think? Why does the gas grill beat out the old briquettes? We're lazy people. Press the button, we get the fire. Push it, it's dirty, we could light the fluid, we might get our hair on fire, right? So, one of the things that we do when we're studying a topic is we try to think of, what are all the different factors around the grilling, that are changing that might present either a new opportunity or a new threat, right? So that's what we do when we scan, right? So the first thing we do, we start here in the present and we say, what does the future, we call it the baseline future. What does the future look like if nothing changes? That is, there's no major surprises. The trends are on track, the projections are accurate, the plans are fulfilled, everything happens, everything goes according to plan. We also call that the least likely future, but that's a possibility, right? And I think if you talk to most, so talk to a non-singularity, talk to somebody who's not part of this group and ask them about the future. And my guess is they'll give you a straight line projection of today. So most people, and this includes our clients, they just think about the future is today straight ahead. And so once we put that on paper for them and go, all right, here's what it looks like if there are no major surprises. Now, when we did our history, we said, wow, there were 5 major surprises in your recent history, but maybe there won't be this time. I doubt it, right? There's going to be surprises. So what the futurist does is try to tell the story of these alternative futures of what those surprises might look like. So if there's a breakthrough in solar energy technology, right now the costs are coming down and things are moving, let's just say, for some reason it doubles, right, or triples, or there's a major breakthrough in how solar energy works. If you were looking at the future of energy, all of a sudden, solar economics become super feasible. I'm in Houston, so that would scare the crap out of most of my people. It's truly amazing, folks. Here we are in Houston, the epicenter of energy, right? Wouldn't you expect to be all over renewable energy? Knowing that, right, the end is, whether it's near, but the end is coming for fossil fuels, right? So if you're a smart planner, what would you do? Start thinking about what's the next business. Who cares if we're an energy company, who cares whether it's gas or oil or whatever, whatever it is, energy is energy. Why don't we become the leaders of the next thing, right? So what we do in the alternative futures is try to imagine what are those disruptive forces that might change the future and make it come out differently. So in a sense, it's like we put the baseline out there and then we challenge it and say, how might I take a right turn, left turn, how might I go this way or that way? And then we basically tell a story, based on evidence, based on our research of how that future might look. So in some ways, we're just storytellers. We're just telling a story. Like one of the big things you're thinking about is AI, right? I mean, when you look at the future of AI, there's different, maybe there's a scenario where AI develops really fast. Maybe there's one where it takes longer than we thought. Maybe there's somewhere in between. And each one of those could be a story of how the future could be different. What does the future look like if it goes really fast? Maybe we don't have to work. Okay, right, so those are the things we want to think about. Because the next step, we call this the indications. Say, oh great, so you've mapped out some stories of how the future might be different. That's all well and good. But what does it mean to us? What should we do? And that's one of the things one of the tools that we have in our toolkit is like, here's what we do. Here's how we get ready for that. So I want to show you an example, so I don't want to repeat that today. Okay. Are we doing on time? Okay, good. Going the wrong way, let's go the right way. This is my desert island slide. If I was going to have one slide to bring the natives to explain the future, this is the one I would bring to converse. Okay? Because I think it really helps get your mind around the future. So strategic fit is a fancy word for saying how well do we understand what's happening, right? So we call the baseline, that straight line of extrapolation, we call that the first horizon. Typically, we hope we understand that pretty well, right? High degree of strategic fit. We know what's happening right now, more or less, I hope, right? So that's high degree of strategic fit in the present. Now the second one, the second horizon, we're saying today, right now, if you do your homework on the future of a topic, I don't care what the topic is, you will have a pretty darn good idea of what the major potential shifts ahead are. We say there is absolutely, positively no excuse for being surprised about the future of your topic, your industry, your sector, whatever you're interested in, if you do your homework. Now, you won't know which alternative is necessarily going to win. You don't know which combination it will be. You might not know the exact timing. But if you do your homework, you will know it's out there. So you have no excuse. Well, we were blindsided. Well, you weren't paying attention. That's what we would say. Now, again, timing is granted. We're not saying exactly when. We're not saying exactly what. We're saying the major alternatives, if you do your homework, you look out 10 years, you should know what they are. Okay? Now the fun stuff, the stuff that I guess a lot of you are here for, I know what I'm here for. We can, even in the present, we can't see it very well. The strategic fit is low, but we can see the really distant, long-term, crazy possibilities in the future. Most of our clients don't care about that, right? They're practical people. Tell us the second horizon, right? I mean, that's where they want, they want us to work. But I'll give you a quick example of a weak signal, right? So one of my first projects, 1993, fresh out of grad school, we were doing a project for General Motors, 1993, right? The project was Intelligent Vehicle Highway Systems, which is the other word for automated vehicles, which we're hearing a lot about today, right? A lot about 1993. I'm sitting in the room doing a project on intelligent vehicles, right? 1993, that was a very weak signal. Like, the technology wasn't there. It was really more of an idea than, but they started working on it. What's that? That's 40 years almost? It's a long time. Another one like that, you might be thinking, 3D printing. The first future of, we used to call it desktop manufacturing. The first future of desktop manufacturing project I did was in 1996. So those were weak signals back then. And what happens is the technology starts to mature, get better. It goes from a weak signal to something that's practically here. Right? And so part of what futurists do is we try to get a sense of what's happening, what are the interesting stuff that's happening here that might bubble up and become a real thing. So not everything makes it though. I would say automated vehicles took a long time. It took 40 years. They got stuck there. So we scan for the future, and we have a little process. How do you find it? How do you collect it? How do you analyze it? So there's a whole methodology there. I can't really bore you with it if you don't have time. One of the things that we do. So this is I'm going to show you an example from a project on automated vehicles I did 2 years ago for the state of Tennessee. So basically, here's the project, right? The commissioner goes, well, we got a whole bunch of money to invest in transportation infrastructure. Before I, put several $1 billion into light rail and buses and all this, tell me a little bit about this automated vehicle thing. Is this real? I mean, not is it real, but how soon might it happen? So I don't want to invest all my money and then find out I missed the key technology. We live in, no matter what topic you want to look at the future of, there's tons of information about it. The hardest part is really sorting through it. You can find information about the future of almost any topic. Okay, but let's get to the forecast. So this, you can read a little bit if you like while I'm talking. So this is the automated vehicle project. One of the things that you do, one of the mechanisms or tools that we use to explore the future of topic, we say, what's really important to that topic we don't understand or we're really unsure about. It could go this way, or it could go that way, or there's one group that says it's going this way. There's one group that says it's going that way. Like the best example I had this when we worked at Kellogg's, we were doing the future of snacks. And one of the things we talked about is we had one group said it's got to be healthy snacks, in the 1990s. And the other group said, taste is all that matters. Healthy is a bunch, it's granola, it's crap, there'll never be a market for healthy snacks. And we were fighting with each other. That's a good uncertainty. One group said there's no way healthy snacks will happen. Another group says it's absolutely coming. So these uncertainties were around this automated vehicle thing. Like one of the interesting things is who wins. Is it General Motors, Chrysler, or I don't even know if they're around, Daimler, BMW, the established players, or do Musk and the new players win the game? Because if the startups win the game, I think the industry is on a much different trajectory than if the established players win the game. Right? And those are the kinds of things we think about. Well, all right, well, let's do a quick show of hands. In the automated vehicle, another automated vehicle startup would be Uber, Lyft, and those are the new players. Even Google, you could argue the Google car. How many people think the startups are going to win? Oh, the optimists, God love you. How many think the realists are? The realists are going to say, yeah, no, the big players will find a way to squash it and kill all the initiative, right? Wait a minute, is there anyone here? Sorry. There are a lot of my clients. But you know, those are the kinds of things we think about. One big thing, will people accept? Now, I'm going to guess if you're here, you're probably going, yeah, man, I'm cool with an automated vehicle. But when you do, you know, when you survey the general population, most people are like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not giving, you know, right? There's a lot of skepticism about, should I really do that? And the timing was the real thing, you know, it's because there's been a ton of publicity. Is this all hype or is this for real? Is it going to be slow or fast? Well, you can make. So those are some of the things that we think about, right? Here's where we did a little scenario plot, simple 2x2. We picked 2 of those uncertainties and then told 4 stories about how the market could evolve, right? And the left side is kind of the boring side. Right. The trickle down is basically the established players win and they roll out automation really slowly. They control it, they make money, it's really slow. Yeah. The survival of the fittest is everybody, there's a bunch of competing standards, which you've seen in the tech space all the time, right? A bunch of competing standards and no standard takes place and there's a bunch of different systems and it doesn't take off because of that. Now it gets interesting at the right side. So this upper right one, ready to launch, was the one we tried to imagine. This is 10 years. What would the scenario look like for a mass, a significant, not mass, but a significant introduction of automated vehicles in 10 years? Really hard to see. I mean, it's like a lot of things would have to go right for that to happen. You know, let's say 35% of the, 35% of the market is automated. So we try to imagine how that, we could paint that picture. But again, like I said, a lot of things have to go right. But it's possible. It's even plausible. I mean, you can make a case. The next president comes in and says, automated vehicles is a national priority of this administration. Let's go. It could happen. It would probably take something like that. Okay. But we wanted to imagine what would the future look like if, now in this case the technology is automated vehicles, but substitute in whatever the technology is. What would it look like in a fast takeoff? What if it goes, all right. Now, this one here, the bottom right, basically said, yeah, the consumer, the people's reluctance to trust the vehicles would slow it down. I'm not getting in that. That's my mom. I'm not getting in one of those. I'm not getting in one of those things, right? Like that kind of thing. And here, so here it would go a lot more. It would go a lot more slowly, a lot more. So does that the 4 scenarios kind of make sense? 4 stories about the future. More or less plausible. Can you understand them at a high level? Yeah. Well, a little bit. So hold that thought. Because this is where the rubber meets the road, right? So, like I said, once we have pictures of the future, it's like, oh great. Now we have this vision, this image of the possibilities. How do we tie it back into what we do today? So if you're an entrepreneur, how do we launch the business? How do we make the product? That's what we want to do next, right? That's where I want to finish. So we've got some tools here. We brainstorm implications. That's just going to make it look like, well, we think through all the different impacts of the scenarios, and then we might boil it down to something simple like this. So this is our back to our Tennessee automated vehicles project. What we decided when we looked at the landscape is we're kind of in this trickle-down thing, where the established companies are more or less running the show, right? That's still kind of the present condition. We said, yeah, it's possible that survival of the fittest could happen, but we're not very interested in that. What our client was really interested in is it going to go fast or slow? And the choice they had to make. So now this is Tennessee, right? Tennessee has this thing like we want to be seen as a progressive, cool, ahead of the pack state. We're kind of we're flying below the radar. We want to be like the I don't know. We want to be the next. No, I'm going to be offensive. We want to be the next Colorado. The next Arkansas. All right, how about that? And so the trailblazer strategy would be really bold. It would say we're going to be first. We are going to make a commitment in Tennessee and if we can get our surrounding region to come with us, we will blaze the trail. We'll be first in automated vehicles. Risky strategy. What if we're wrong? What if we're the only ones to do it? Okay. So the second one says, yeah, let's be the champion of the people. Let's make sure that we unravel, we unfold this in a deliberate, We'll go slow, we'll reassure people we've got their best interests at heart. Okay, so those are the choices they kind of had to debate, right? They went back and forth. So one of the things they've done is they started like they started a statewide consortium on smart vehicles, and they bring together all the key stakeholders to talk about it. But I think really what's going to happen, this will be an interesting one, and this is not based on any insider knowledge, it's just me having worked with them. I think what those back is one of the things you think about, so what's in Tennessee that might be interesting? Any companies in Tennessee that you can think of that might have relevance to this? Let's see any geography people, come on. Who's in Tennessee? FedEx! Aha! World's biggest freight company, right? Moving stuff on highways. So the first experiment I think we'll see is, and they talk about it, is we'll take one of the lanes of the highway, and instead of having it be like a HOV lane, we'll make it an automated lane. And we'll let the FedEx trucks roll out, we'll put them together in like they do like a train, like a virtual train, and we'll have a dedicated lane of automated freight vehicles across Tennessee, and hopefully we'll persuade our partners to be in line with us so we don't have to stop at the state line. And we'll build a little regional freight network and see how it goes. So watch that. That's the first thing we'll see. And I think that is, in terms of a future strategy, we start there and say, hey, if that goes well, why don't we try automated vehicles in Nashville? No personal vehicles in Nashville, you have to use the automated pod vehicles. Let's try that experiment, see how that goes. And then maybe 10, 15 years, we roll it out to the whole state. So that, in 32 minutes, is the nature of how we do this work. Okay, so I gave you the high-level overview, maybe some of the benefits. Now Brian's going to show you how they, RevUnit, applied our process in a real project.
All right. Isn't that cool to hear about futurist things? Taking all that complexity, turning it into stories that we can relate to and then take action on. I think it's really compelling. I want to share with you a little bit about an experience that we didn't raise that up.
You can see the contrasting picture.
So Seth and I and a team here at RevUnit had the opportunity to do some work with Andy and a couple of his graduate students in his 4-set program. We've had a really great experience, and in our business we do a lot with retailers, which is where we are, a lot with transportation logistics companies and technology on behalf of these companies. And so it's really important for us to understand the space, and it's helpful for us to bring understanding to our clients about how things are changing, what capabilities are needed to compete and be successful. And so we chose to do an engagement around the future of retail work. Some of the things that I wanted to share with you is what tools and methods do we use and how do we use them? What kinds of things do we learn from this engagement, and where are we going next with this? We're about 80% of the way, I'd say, through this engagement. There's still some more work to be done, but we're beginning to see some things emerge that we're excited about. So some of these tools that he talked about. First, framing. Has anyone done a mind map before to get ideas out on paper? This is a simple tool, but applied to this space, one of the first questions we had to figure out was, how broad a scope do we want to explore the future of? In other words, we had a whole bunch of ideas we wanted to explore, and they were kind of in different directions, and it was really big, the space we were considering trying to understand better. And we figured out we got to narrow this thing down. It's got to be something that we can dig into and find something actionable and be some good insights. So we decided to focus on field-based retail work. So workers in stores. What's likely to happen in the future? What are some of the considerations we need to take into account for field-based retail workers? And so this mind map, that's the center of this mind map, then we went through a process of thinking through what kinds of things could affect what happens to work in stores. So things like, what kinds of tasks do people do? What kinds of tools and technologies are emerging that could affect those tasks? How are workforces engaged? What are the generational differences that result in differences in working and being engaged by the retailer that they work with. And what kinds of communication is necessary, what kinds of learning needs to happen in order for people to reskill as the nature of the work activity changes over time. So using that as our framework, we then went to the process that Andy described of scanning. And that's scanning the internet, scanning for all different kinds of information, scanning for white papers and news articles and research studies and indicator signals of things that could happen, strong signals and weak signals, trends that are things that are happening today, and weaker signals that look like they might happen in the future. There's a sci-fi author named William Gibson who says, the future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed.